Menace is sobriety. Just a menace.
Hello. Yes, little at-home podcast very quickly. I just wanted to talk, man. I wanted to talk. I'm on my own. Mrs. is away. She's been away for quite a while. And I had quite a tricky weekend. And I learned quite a lot about myself. I've had so much time to just think that I wanted to share my thoughts. I've got the windows open, so you might be able to hear some planes going by. They're not in the house, but listen, yeah, man, I've had a tricky weekend, and I wanted to talk, and I thought, do you know what? Just let it all out, man. But get a camera out and set the podcast up, and maybe what you're thinking about and you want to release can help someone out there. That's what this whole podcast thing is about. And it's been quite tricky being so open and talking about everything. I thought it was quite I do think it's a very important thing for men to do, especially, but men and women. But I think for all of us, talking and trying to understand how you feel, why you get emotional, what stuff triggers you, is the path to healing. It's the only way to heal, you know. And when you cry, that is your self-healing. That is your body releasing that pent-up emotion. You know, that's what it feels like. Ooh, and then it comes out, you know. And I think my problem started this weekend on Friday when I posted a video from the podcast that we done on Friday where I was crying. I cried in the podcast. It was quite a sad situation, you know, where she spoke about, Eddie spoke about her partner relapsing. And although back when relapsing when they had their first child, and although when I look back to when I had both my children, Neve and Rue, they are the light of my life, right? I love them to pieces. That they're my motivation to be a better person, right? And I think all parents are the same. So precious, so innocent, so raw, so like an empty, I don't know, like an empty glass that's just waiting to be filled full of healthy, beautiful stuff. And, you know, anything that's toxic or wrong or bad from me that's ever been around them breaks my heart, you know. And, you know, even though when I look back to when I didn't look at them as relapses because I wasn't trying to go sober back then, you know. I was just going off the rails every time I drank, or every time I drank, it normally turned into the sesh, and that would turn into days, and my, you know, even though I'd sleep in between, it would still, you know, and my addict mentality would kick in. I've learned all about it now, so I look back at it as an addict mentality. It would kick in, you know, where I would be like, nah, fuck it, man, I deserve this, and I've got to let off steam, or whatever it is. And it happened both times when, I don't want to go too much into it, you know, for Shelly's privacy, but it happened both times, you know, wetting the baby's head. And I really learned something about myself from listening to Eddie, to crying about it, to posting a video and talking about why I was crying about it and what it meant to me. And it really emphasized this whole learning process that sobriety brings to you. I love sobriety now because, you know, it's without sobriety, without having... Is that my dog snoring? Sorry, that's the beagle. Without having something to work on, like myself or my sobriety, I wouldn't have all these things to unpick, you know. I'd still be just plodding along in my life, drinking alcohol, sniffing gear, and burying all my shit. And on Friday, you know, it opened up. My missus has been away for a week. She came back for a couple of days. She's up north. You know, it's the summer holidays. I want the kids to be busy. I said to Shelly, just book loads of stuff in and go and do loads of stuff. You know, I can't leave. I've got gigs, businesses to run, meetings, commitments. I've got serious commitments at the moment, especially with my tour. I've got a lot of warm-up gigs. I've got a live podcast. I've got all this jazz, interviews and blah, 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 promotional stuff. But I didn't want them to just be sat around the house. So, you know, she's gone up north, she's come back, and they've popped off to Crete as well for a little holiday. They're having a great time. But we spoke, and she was by the pool in Crete, and we spoke about both those times, you know, and I buried them. And also by burying them, I buried my head in the sand about them. I knew they were traumatic times for Shelly, you know, and I knew that she wasn't happy how I behaved around them, you know, going and wetting the baby's head and leaving her. And, you know, it's like our right as men, you know, it's like, you know, yeah, we ain't even pushed the baby out. Do you know what I mean? We've just been there, you know, trying not to look and holding a hand, you know. And, you know, I even slept after. Do you know what I mean? It was a heavy night. I had a good little kip in the hospital. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, and then we feel it like it's all right. Like, you know, it's like, and for normal people that can drink and go and have a few drinks and then go back and get into bed and be there with their wife and child, you know, it's fine. But unfortunately I didn't, and it got out of hand like it always did with the drinking. And through me talking about it on the podcast and then getting upset about it and then looking at it, reviewing it, and then talking about why I got upset about it, I unpicked all these emotions inside, and I had this feeling that I just needed to talk to Shelly about it and express to her, you know, I'm sorry and how I was back then, you know, and not blame the addiction, even though the addiction enabled my behavior. I'm a firm believer that, you know, I was just selfish back then. And you know, you've got to take accountability for your actions. You can't just blame the addiction. You know, it's like saying, I'm sorry I slept with this woman, I was drunk. Do you know what I mean? That don't cut it. You still make decisions, you still make poor decisions, and the addiction plays a part in that. And I wanted to explain that to her. I'm not leaning on my addiction. I wanted to explain to her that I'm sorry for making the wrong choices back then. And it was great for Shelly. Well, it's never great for Shelly, but I mean, you know, it's public. You know, first of all, I wanted to check before any of that went out that she was happy with it going out. And she was, yeah, you know, it's all part of your learning. And if it helps you learn, that's great. You know, she doesn't want to be a part of it, you know, but she's happy for me to share because she knows it's helping me and helping other people. But more importantly, it gave her the opportunity to say how she felt about it to me personally. And we had this long conversation, and I come away from it thanking her, you know, thank you for releasing everything, how you felt about it. And, you know, she felt better, like that, like, you know, there's a level of, I don't know what it is that women want, but maybe if I could put my finger on it, it's a level of, I don't know what the word is, but men like realizing or accepting, you know, that they done wrong. You know, that helps women put it to bed a little bit, you know, otherwise it's just harbored on their behalf anyway. It was nice to move forward from it, but I was still on my own after that. Friday night was tough, and over the weekend it was playing on my mind. You know, I was still unpicking a lot of stuff and felt guilt and a bit of shame, and that's tough when you're sober, man, because the guilt and shame about stuff, or, you know, the emotions are the cause of my addiction. That's the cause of my alcohol and drug abuse, right? And that's the cause of yours as well. Whoever you are out there, that is the cause of yours. It's, you know, the drink and the drugs never started off as the problem. They were the solution, right? And you got to remember that. Listen to what I'm saying again. The drink and the drugs were never a problem in the beginning. They were the solution. But what were they the solution to? What were they the solution to? It can be very simple to some people. It's just the solution to having a hard life, you know, to living in poverty. It's just a solution to be working hard all week, you know, having that explosive release at the weekend. It can just be the solution to being stressed. It can be any of those things. But to some people, it's deeper. It can be the solution to insecurities. It can be the solution to childhood trauma. It can be the solution to not coping with life or burying regrets. It can be the solution to self-hate, self-loathing. It can be the solution to inadequacy, whatever. It can be the solution to depression, anxiety. It can be the solution to rapid overthinking. It can be the solution to ADHD. It can be the solution to other mental health diseases. It can be your solution, right? And then you get dependent on your solution, and it becomes your coping mechanism. And when you take that away, when you take away the coping, the way you cope at the very point that you're unpicking all of these emotions, when you're opening Pandora's box and you're discovering what it is that was the problem, in order to stop using the solution, and you can't use the solution while you're opening Pandora's box, it's a dark place. It's a hard place. And that was the place I was in this weekend. And that was coupled with my pal's been out in Ibiza. One of my business partners in Ibiza is back and forth in Ibiza, and bless him, you know, not that people don't have to change their lives for me. Do you know what I mean? You know, but they're posting online. My other pal Mark, he's living a dream over in Marbella, getting up to all sorts. And then my fucking, you know, my missus is on holiday, and my other pal's away, and my pal Chris was away with his family, and you know, everyone's drinking. And it's bank holiday weekend, the sun's out, and I'm unpacking all of this shit, and I'm on my own, and it's quiet, and it got to me, and I started thinking about drinking, and I was thinking about using, and I was thinking about why I'm on this journey. And I very rarely have time, or my mind doesn't let me appreciate what I'm doing. So I know what a lot of people would be thinking out there. Look, you're so lucky. You got a big house. You got a nice car. You got a fucking massive platform, and you're providing goods for the sober community. You're keeping people sober. Your podcast is great. It's loads of people listen. Loads of people comment. Loads of people are following. I don't see any of that. I have to stop and think about that. I have to stop and think that people look up to me. I have to fucking read the comments and get into it to think there's people looking up to you, depending on you, you're doing well, because that's not a normal state of mind for me. A normal state of mind is, am I doing enough? What should I be doing? Does anyone like me? You know, I live in this fucking constant state of, I wouldn't say it's as deep as insecurity, but it's a constant state of second guessing. That's just me. That's just the way I live. And that's my motivation I would never change it. It's my motivation to improve and to keep producing great content and keep striving. But yeah, man. And, you know, so I learned a lot this weekend, and, you know, I like to talk about it like I'm talking about it now. You know, when you have that battle in your mind, and a chunk of you comes up, something you've done wrong in the past, and then you look at it and you're like, oh fucking hell, yeah, I've got to unpack this now, and why did I do it? Who was hurt? You know, and then you've got to realize that you can't make it right. You know, there's some things you can't make it right. Not being there, you know, you can't make that right. You've just got to accept that you've done wrong, and you've got to use this moment that you're unpacking it to learn from it. What can I learn from it? What can I take from it? And the big thing about it is, you know, that you can't drink, mate. You can't drink. You can't drink, because if you can't control your drinking, right? And this is just what it really solidified in my, well, I met a number of things. Fuck me, I can't believe my missus stayed with me after all of these years, all the different fucking fuck ups that I've had. But she truly loves me, right? And I'm lucky. And she obviously sees the good in me, which you know, and the fact that she wants to sit and talk about things, you know, warms my heart, you know. But, you know, you can't drink, man. You can't drink. You can't drink, because if you drink, you'll use drugs. And if you use drugs, you won't give a fuck about anything else. And I'll tell you what the problem is. If you're like me, and look, it's just a simple thing, right? If you're like me, and this is so fucking poignant, this is what I fucking learned from this weekend. Everything ends up as a fucking quote to me, right? It ends up as a fucking quote, or a saying, or a catchphrase. Like my old catchphrase is proper more, she knows. It ends up as a fucking catchphrase. It's just the way my brain works. It just turns it round into a piece of fucking information that lodges into my brain that I can reach out and grab every time I'm thinking about fucking it up, right? If I can't control how I drink, once I start, I can't stop, then I run the risk of every single time I'm celebrating a special moment in my life of ruining it. And the same thing happened at other special occasions, you know. I couldn't control myself. I got too excited. I enjoyed getting smashed too much. Once that feeling comes over me of fucking losing my head and partying and going wild and escaping reality, yeah, once I come away from the person I am right now, which is very uncomfortable to be at the best of times, you know, the further I get away from reality or myself, the more comfortable I become in oblivion, in fucked up mayhem, in fucking Las Vegas in my fucking mind, you know. And it's the same. Holidays, weddings, birthdays, fucking celebrations, christenings. I used to get off my nuts at fucking christenings. Do you know what I mean? Funerals, you know, special times, Christmas, anniversaries, you know. And people wonder why alcohol and drug abuse ruins families, because all the special times that you're together, you're being a twat, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? And that's what I took from it. I never saw that before. I never saw how my drinking and alcohol use affected special moments in my life. I just thought every now and then, you know, not even just special moments with my family, special work events. How many meetings? Well, I know, fucking hell, man. I've had some serious meetings with serious people. I work in the TV and film industry. You know, it can't be a coincidence that in 10 years of me trying to get a full UK tour, it's only come about now that I'm sober. It can be no coincidence that people are talking about giving me TV opportunities. It can be no coincidence that I've got films coming out now, you know. It can't be a coincidence, because I was a fucking wreck, right? A very well-known film producer will, you know, 5, 6, 7, maybe longer, 6 or 7 years ago, was going to give me an opportunity, and I had a nosebleed in the meeting from fucking being on it the night before. They knew what it was. They know I got on it. So, you know, I've had launch events for films or for products, you know, where the industry has seen me there fucking on the smashed. Everything was an excuse, you know. So that's what we run the risk of. And this weekend, on top of that, you know, this weekend, you know, the more I share, the more abuse I get. It's just the way. I just done a video and put it on my TikTok about it, and it's just the truth. The more I share, the more abuse I get, man. It's just as simple as that. The more vulnerability that I show, the more abuse I get. The more positive things I put out, the more negative I get back. You know, it's not, you know, you put positive things out in yourself, positive things happen. You put positive things on social media, it ignites the negativity in people, and I'm at peace with it, but it does upset me. I'm not going to lie, you know, that my ego makes me want to smash things to pieces. Do you know what I mean? You know, when there's men getting mouthy to me, just getting lippy, oh, it fucking ignites a rage in me. I mean, sometimes I see it and I just think, oh, you're pathetic, you're trying to get my attention. But sometimes I see it and I just want to see the person. Do you know what I mean? It makes me mad. But now there's slowly a part of me that sees it. You know, it's only ever on videos of me working out, running, boxing, you know, trying to better myself, talking about my personal development, talking about righting things that I've done wrong in the past. It's always on videos where I'm showing growth in some form, some way. And I know that now. And now I can put my finger on it. It makes me realize what it is. Positivity in me makes people out there that are struggling with the same things I am, it makes them look at them, not being able to move past them. Growth in me shows other people where they ain't growing. Right, so really, it shouldn't be met with anger. It should be met with sincerity, but it's not going to be, because that would just get thrown in my face. But it's certainly within my mind, I try and look at it and you know, just try and hold it down. You know what I mean? I look at it and try and see people struggling, not see people like me. Not see people just getting at me for no reason. Well, do you know what I used to see? I used to see, and do you know why you know, why maybe it used to trigger me? Because I used to see truth, you know? Like a couple of the comments were just like, at least I ain't a cokehead, or you're still fat, look at the size of your tits, you chubby wanker, you know, all that work, and look at the belly on you, and da-da-da. And you see truth in it. When people say stuff like that, oh, you're just doing this stuff for attention, you see some truth in it. You look at it, and it ignites insecurity in yourself. I look at it and I go, fucking hell, they're right. I am still a bit fat, you know. Or maybe I am doing all this for attention, maybe not for the right reasons. Stop. Sorry, my dog's just trying to dig my couch. You know, your insecurity comes out when people criticise you, you know, straight away. But that's the go-to with us. We're weak in the mind, and it takes a lot to try and flip that. But I just wanted to sit down and talk to you, man, and express what I learned. I think that I'm in a unique position now, 10 months into my sobriety, unpicking it all. It's almost like a diary, isn't it, of a sober life. And I know that there's so many people out there that maybe ain't even going sober, that when they start looking at themselves, are met with all these emotions. Is this a midlife crisis? I don't know. Is it a midlife crisis? Or am I just maturing? Or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's hard. It's difficult. But I know as a result of it, I'm becoming a better person. I'm becoming more real. I'm becoming better for my kids. And fuck me, what if my kids see all this? You never know, do you? But what people may think, might delete it all. But everything I've ever done on social media by the time they're 20, 15, 10. Fuck knows. But I'm feeling good. And do you know what? Oh, wow. I feel a bit better for letting all of that out. Let me know if you listened. Let me know if you watched. Let me know if you connected. I'm going to sit down now and go through all the comments on my last video, and then I'll catch up to the comments on this one, so feel free to leave them. But ultimately, I guess the point of this video is, if you're feeling your emotion, if things are hard, it's good. If you're feeling emotional, if stuff's coming up that you're finding hard to deal with, it means you're dealing with them. And if you're getting pushed to drink or use drugs because of stuff you're thinking about, this is the work. This is the important work. And it means that you're getting to stages within your emotions, in your mind, in your mental health, that you haven't been able to get to because you've been suppressing them with the alcohol and the booze. So push through, man. Break through barriers. Try and discover more about yourself. You know, it's not always easy, but I'm enjoying what I'm finding out about myself. Through exploring, more thoughts are coming out, more content for me is being created. It's helping my work as well. You know, I try to turn everything emotional or bad that I go through into comedy. It's my way of coping, I guess. It's better than picking up a bag of gear or a pint. So, you know, it all ends up in the stand-up comedy or out online as well. So it's all positive things. Thank you for listening to me. You are like my counsellors. And without you or this platform or people to talk to about what I'm going through, who knows if I'd be able to do it. I love you. Menace to Sobriety, little home podcast for you there. If you were listening out there, if we put it out on the audio, I love you. I don't know how many of you are. I don't know who you are, but thank you. And if you watched online, leave us a comment or pop me a DM on my Instagram if you tuned in. Peace out. Stay sober. Hello! We are going to take the Menace to Sobriety to the live stage, and we need a live studio audience to interact with us, to come along, listen, laugh, and learn everything about sobriety, mental health, well-being, and just come along for a night out with like-minded people. We are going to be going live on the 30th of August, 27th of September, 25th of October, and the 29th of November. That's one a month. Get your tickets now. Come down, meet the team, and have some fun. Menace to Sobriety live, coming soon. Oh yes, and don't forget, if you want to come and see me live and meet me, I'm going on tour. The Daniel O'Reilly Out of Character full UK tour kicks off in January 2024, and tickets are on sale right now. I'm going to try and get out and meet as many of you as possible, and of course, I'm going to be bringing the laughs all over the UK. There's 23 dates right now, and I'm adding more all the time. Hit the link in the bio and get your tickets now and come have some fun.
If you're going through a tough time at the moment, please don't suffer in silence. Feel free to pick up the phone and contact any of these helplines. I personally, myself, at one of my darkest points, contacted the Samaritans, and it completely changed my outlook and got me out of a really deep, dark place. A problem shared really is a problem halved. So if you don't feel confident talking to those around you, check out any of these organisations and give them a call. This is my Facebook group. Just simply search on Facebook, Men and Their Emotions. It's for men only, but once you're in there, you can talk anonymously about your problems and help others and just feel a little bit of community. So come join the conversation, Men and Their Emotions, on Facebook. Thanks for watching.
Menace to Sobriety, just a menace, just a menace, just a menace. Menace to Sobriety, just a menace, just